Broken heart, he thought he was just passing through the desert. Fire. Until he found the girl who was never meant to be there. The desert stretched endlessly. Hot. Silent. Unforgiving. The kind of place where nothing survives for long. Except him. Jake Turner. A cowboy who didn't belong anywhere anymore. Riding alone. No destination. No reason to stop. Until his horse slowed. Then stopped completely. Jake frowned slightly. "What is it, boy?" The animal didn't move. Just stared ahead. And that's when Jake saw it. A small house. Old. Half buried in sand. Completely out of place. "No way," he muttered. "No one lived out here. No one could." But something about it felt real. He rode closer. Slow. Cautious. Because places like this always had stories. And not all of them were good. The door creaked slightly as the wind pushed it. Jake stepped down from his horse. Hand instinctively near his belt. Just in case. "Hello," he called out. No answer. Only silence. Then, a sound behind him. Soft. He turned quickly. And froze. Because she was there. Standing a few steps away. Watching him. Lena. Barefoot. Simple dress. Hair moving gently with the wind. She didn't look scared. She didn't look surprised. She looked calm. Like she'd been expecting him. "You shouldn't be here," she said softly. Her voice was quiet, but steady. Jake blinked slightly. "Funny," he replied. "I was about to say the same thing." A faint expression crossed her face. Not quite a smile, but close. "This is my home," she said. He looked around again. The empty desert. The broken house. "No offense," he said, "but this doesn't look like a place anyone lives." "I do," she replied simply. Silence. Because nothing about this made sense. "You're alone out here?" he asked. A pause. Then, "I've always been." Something in her tone felt different. Not sad. Not weak. Just true. Jake studied her for a moment. Because girls like her didn't just appear in the middle of nowhere and survive. "You're not afraid?" he asked. "Of what?" she replied. He stepped closer. The desert. A pause. The people who might come through here. Their eyes met. And for the first time, something shifted. Because she wasn't afraid of the desert. And she definitely wasn't afraid of him. "I've seen worse than both," she said quietly. That answer stayed with him. Because it wasn't normal. Nothing about her was. And yet, he didn't want to leave. Not anymore. "Got water?" he asked finally. A small test. A reason to stay. She turned slightly, gesturing toward the house. "Come inside." That should have been a warning. A stranger. A girl alone. A place that didn't make sense. But Jake followed anyway. Because something about her pulled him in, and deep down, he knew this wasn't just a stop in the desert. This was the beginning of something he wouldn't be able to walk away from. The house was cooler inside. Dim light. Simple things. But clean. Lived in. Jake Turner looked around carefully. "You built all this?" he asked. Lena poured water into a glass. "No," she said. "I found it." He raised an eyebrow. "In the middle of nowhere?" She handed him the glass. "Everything out here is lost before it's found." That answer didn't sit right. But he drank anyway. Cold. Real. Just like her. "You've been alone this whole time?" he asked again. She nodded slightly. "You don't seem surprised by that." A faint pause. "I got used to it." Jake leaned against the wall, studying her, because something wasn't adding up. "You talk like someone who's seen people," he said. Not like someone who's never had them. That made her stop. Just for a second. Then she looked at him, and for the first time, there was something behind her eyes. A past. "I had people once," she said quietly. That was all. No details. No explanation. But it was enough. Because pain doesn't need a full story. You can hear it in the silence. Outside, the wind picked up. Stronger. Colder. Jake glanced toward the door. "You get visitors out here?" he asked casually. Lena didn't answer immediately. Then, "Not the kind you'd want to meet." That changed the air instantly. Because now, this wasn't just strange. It was dangerous. Jake straightened slightly. What kind? Her eyes moved toward the horizon. The kind that don't knock. Silence. Heavy. Because now he understood. She wasn't alone by choice. She was hiding. And whatever she was hiding from was still out there. Night came fast in the desert. Cold. Quiet. Too quiet. Jake sat near the window, watching the darkness. Something didn't feel right. You expecting them? He asked. Lena stood still. Yes. That one word was enough. Then, horses. Distant at first. Then closer. Too fast. Jake stood up instantly. How many? 3. Her voice stayed calm, but her hands didn't. They found me sooner than I thought, she added. Jake looked at her. Serious now. Who are they? A pause. Men who think I belong to them. That was all he needed to hear. He moved toward the door, checking his revolver. You stay inside. No, she said quickly. He looked back at her. I'm not hiding anymore. Their eyes locked. And in that moment, he realized something. She wasn't just surviving. She was fighting. The horses stopped outside. Voices. Rough. Confident. She's here. Jake stepped out first, standing between them and her. 3 men. Armed. Smirking. Well, looks like she found herself a cowboy. One of them laughed. Jake didn't react. Turn around, he said calmly. Not your business, the man replied. Jake's eyes didn't move. It is now. Tension snapped. Fast. Gunshots echoed through the desert. Sharp. Loud. Dust rising. Chaos. And in seconds, silence again. Jake stood still, breathing steady. The men were gone, not coming back. He turned. Lena stood at the doorway, looking at him differently now. Not as a stranger, but as something else. Someone who stayed. Broken heart, she spent her life running, but what if this time she didn't want to run anymore? Cab's hat face, would you stay with him or disappear forever? Speech balloon comment. Stay or run. Morning came quietly, like nothing happened, but everything had changed. You should leave, Lena said softly. Jake looked at her. No. That simple answer surprised her. They'll send more, she said. I know. A pause. Then why are you still here? He stepped closer. Not rushed. Not forced. I've been riding alone for a long time, he said. A breath. And you're the first reason I've had to stop. Silence. Because she felt it too. Something real. Something dangerous. Not because of the men, but because of what it meant. You don't even know me, she whispered. I know enough, he replied. Her eyes softened slightly, because for the first time, someone wasn't chasing her, or using her. They were choosing her, and that was harder to accept than fear. I don't want to run anymore, she said quietly. That was it. The truth. The decision. Jake nodded once. Then don't. No promises. No perfect ending. Just 2 people. Standing in the middle of nowhere. Choosing something real. Even if it was dangerous. Even if it didn't last forever. Because sometimes, love isn't about safety. It's about staying.